We've had some deals done, but it is very much going to go down to the wire, Kingy.
Oh, it's exciting. It's exciting. So many fresh opportunities. Premiership aspirations change. They swing wildly tonight, whether you're losing one or getting one. It's a pretty big deal.
And you look a bit greyer than you did 9 days ago, Ralph. It's been a big 9 or 10 days for you, but we're getting there.
It's been amazing, and there are also massive deals, and there are also hugely decorated players who have traded clubs today. Let's go through them. So Christian Petracca arrives on the Gold Coast as the club's newest superstar. Clayton Oliver's deal is done to the Giants. He is a GWS player. St Kilda captain Jack Steele. He becomes a Melbourne player for a future third rounder, joined by Changuth Giaf. And Ugle-hagan, a Gold Coast player, an extraordinary number 1 overall draft pick, thrown away for pick 74. Unbelievable.
Let's drill down on the Petracca one, the nitty-gritty of this deal that sees him go to the Suns after 209 games and 4 best and fairest for the Ds.
That's correct. So the deal was pick 7, 8 and a 2026 future first rounder, for Melbourne giving back 3 second rounders, which of course will help with points for Gold Coast. Gold Coast have always said we deal in crypto, other clubs trade in cash. They want the early picks. We just want enough security there to be able to get our academy players in. He'll be a superstar at this football club. He kicked 18-24 and had 580 possessions. And yes, he did not kick the ball well this year. But I tell you what, this forward line now is absolutely stacked, and he will have the fire in the belly. He will want to prove a few people in this football industry wrong.
Yeah, it's massive for the Gold Coast Suns. They're absolutely in premiership contention next season after the year that they've had. To add Christian Petracca, an absolute star of the game. Be interesting to see the role that they play. Does Dimmer try and do the Dusty Martin role and he starts in the centre bounce but then plays as a deep forward, or does he flip with Bailey Humphrey and they alternate between inside mid and inside the forward 50? But either way, they've gone to another level. It's a great get, as you touched on. Gold Coast play with a different currency. They didn't need pick 7 and 8 to still get their 3 or 4 academy players in. But in using those picks, they land an absolute star.
This is why you get Damien Hardwick, because you have a football club that's prepared to back themselves in. They know what they're getting and they're happy to pay full price. Give up those picks. They're not necessarily required, and that's a discussion for later on. But then they take the next step, and I know you'll get to Jamara in a moment, but I just love the fact they're prepared to back themselves in. They are now a serious football club. We've seen what they've been able to do on-field this year, and they've been backed up by the off-field department in this short off-season.
Who wants to play against this forward line? Ben Long, Bailey Humphrey, Ben King, Jamara, Petracca, maybe Rogers, Reid and Walter. They are absolutely stacked at this position. And if he gets a bit frustrated there, he just rolls into the midfield as a 2021 Norm Smith medalist. We understand his frustrations at Melbourne. We understand that he has not had the best 18 months. But again, he is only a player at 30 years of age who, let's face it, should be in a 5-year premiership window at Gold Coast.
So a fresh start for Christian and also for his premiership teammate in Clayton Oliver. Talk to us about the specifics of this deal. So
GWS had the whip hand. They said, we've got a future third rounder and we've got about $600,000 or $700,000. Take it or leave it, Melbourne. From there, his management, Connors Sports, went to work with Melbourne, who obviously have been able to pay about $650,000 of that deal for the next 5 years. It is a lot of money to pay, as much as $3.5 million for him not to play at your football club. But again, the naysayers will say that he is a shadow of his former self. Those that have seen him closely have said his last 6 weeks of the year were very much his best. And yes, Tom Green is also a player who is seen as one-paced, but he's got fancy feet. He can draw in your leg drivers association. And so GWS feels like this is a player who is better than the alternative if they had to fashion one of their flankers into an inside midfielder in 2026.
Yeah, as we touched on, he addresses a need for the Giants, and that is their contested ball and clearance through the middle of the ground. Too much was left to too few. They need more depth, and they get it. And still a very, very solid AFL player who's elite still in the category, in the area that he plays well, which is in the contest in the shoebox.
And given the ultimate clip, really, traded to the point where they're funding half his wage, just get him out of the place. So you'll get an angry Clayton Oliver this year. That's great news for the GWS Giants. They get him at half price. They effectively play with a salary cap that's got another $700,000 on every other club next year. There's a massive opportunity for this club and for guys like Tom Green to not necessarily have to shoulder all of the load for all 27 home and away games and finals.
Saint Skipper is on the move, Ralphie.
For a 2027 third rounder, so it's effectively a throwaway pick as well. The former captain who handed in that badge only a couple of weeks ago, he was pushed out of St Kilda. So the upside is that he's a 2020 and 2021 best and fairest and all-Australian. The downside is effectively you're paying about $1 million of his wage and $650,000 of Clayton's. You're paying $1.6 million for a player who some would say is not as good as Clayton Oliver or doesn't have as big an upside. We know that he is an exceptional citizen and he will shepherd through those young midfielders like Langford and Lindsay. So it is a deal that makes some sense, but I think we'll need a bit more explanation from the Demons.
Yeah, terrific character. Jack Steele, he's been a wonderful servant for St Kilda, but I think St Kilda are looking at their list and they want to move past Jack Steele, and they were happy to get the money off the books. I think he supports Jack Viney now in a leadership role and a youngish midfield at the Demons, but yeah, we wish him all the best.
I don't really understand this one, to be frank. I think the Viney's got that capability as it sits, solid citizen. Stephen King, though, true to form, he's put culture before finance and some personnel.
We will drill down on all of these and all the clubs and what they have done a little later. Jamara Ugle-hagan out of the Bulldogs.
Yeah, a one-year deal with a second-year trigger, about $200,000. He was on $900,000 expected this year and next year as well. And so this is a highly performance-based deal that will allow the club to sack him if he commits some major errors there. Pick 74, yeah, how the mighty have fallen. But he gets a second chance to be a second-chance hero.
All right, well, they are the deals that are done. There's still a couple of very big names that are up for grabs at the moment, or perhaps not up for grabs, and therein lies the problem. Let's head to Marvel Stadium and David Zeta, who's watching it all unfold. Zeets, what is the latest, particularly with Zach Merrett?
Well, there is quite the buzz here at Trade HQ, of course. The last 20 minutes before the deadline, always quite the experience here at Marvel Stadium. So, of course, there is still plenty to play out. The big two at the moment, Charlie Curnow and Zach Merrett, of course. Now, I think there is some confidence that the Charlie Curnow deal can get done between Sydney and Carlton. All their key power brokers are in a room as we speak trying to thrash out that deal. The Zach Merrett one, now, that's the one that's been the real watch this space for the entirety of the trade period, really. So, a short time ago, Hawthorn made what it says is its final offer to the Bombers for Zach Merrett services. That deal is pick 10, pick 22, a 2026 first-round pick and Henry Hustwaite in exchange for Merrett and a 2026 third-round pick. So that is the final offer from Hawthorn. We'll know in the space of 20 minutes whether or not the Bombers have accepted that, but they have played at this very firm all the way through. They're the two big deals still to be done. Zach Merrett, this one looks set to go right down to the 7:30pm deadline, I reckon, Sarah.
And if that is the best that Hawthorn is offering up, I'd be shocked if the Bombers accept that, given the strong line that Andrew Welsh has given.
Well, I'm surprised you're not. You're wearing everything but the sash tonight, given the colours you've come with. But look, I don't know. I'm torn on this one. I think that with a club like where they are right now, the picks would be handy. There's no doubt about that. But they've been so strong in saying that they won't trade their captain that I tend to side a little bit with Andrew Walsh and think, OK, how strong is your first statement to the members? Is it bulletproof? Will you waver?
I think that this is a deal that is now absolutely something most clubs would take. The problem is the last 25 years of history at Essendon. The problem is that Zach Merrett is their only A-grader and he's won 6 Crichton medals. And so this is a club that continues to say, we are making every decision at this football club under Brad Scott and now Andrew Welsh for the medium and long-term future.